Man, every week,
It is.
every week it's the same. I'm gonna update this.
Yeah, you know what? We should, but you know what? I think we've been, everybody is always wondering, like, what do we really do behind the scenes and get crap going? And you'd be surprised how many other projects that we're working on at the same time, editing and everything else. So it just, when it becomes the most minor things is to fix, like the countdown timer. And that's something we definitely gonna have to put some time to do, man.
Yeah, well, hey, guess what though? We don't have to count down anymore. It is 10:07 Eastern, 7:07 Pacific Standard Time. And the most gorgeous, sexiest hosts alive in the toy industry are coming at you live on the Shadow Nose Network. We are Toy Box Chronicles. Mr. Storm is my sexy partner in crime here. How are you doing, sir?
You know what? For the first time in about, I say probably about 4 or 5 days since last Friday. I don't know if everybody knew, but I had the flu and I still did Friday's show, and it has been just a heck of a week. And this is the first time tonight that I felt like really good and then felt like really like sick trying to do it. So it's cool, man. It's nice to be fully
Good.
healthy and doing the show with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got that sexy voice coming back too, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
nice.
know.
I
It was
miss
all
that.
nasally and
I
everything on
know.
Friday, man.
It's like it's. I gotta take a second here. It's kind of crazy. Hey, if you're watching for the very first time, I am Chet Maddox, and that is Alexander Storm, and we are Toy Box Chronicles, and we want to thank you for stopping by. But you were going to do it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So make sure you subscribe, like, follow, and all that other crazy stuff, because if you don't, you suck, and we don't suck. So tonight, my friend, we are going to keep it loose,
Yes,
looser
sir.
than your high school girlfriend. We're going to be talking about some displays for your collections. Now, that can be anything, people.
Hmm.
Okay. We're not just talking about displays for toys. We are. But it's displays. We're gonna have some tips. We're gonna tell you what we purchase, what we don't purchase.
Hmm.
Uh and then we got some announcements that hit some inboxes from Hasbro
Yep.
and some figures that hit the actual inboxes from
Yep.
Hasbro. So we got a lot that we're gonna do, and we're excited for you to be able to witness the glory that is Toy Box Chronicles. So sit back, grab your ass, and hang on. Those graphics.
It does. Works
Those
against me every time, brother. Excuse me every time.
chokes. I just get choked up. I get choked up. So where do we start, Mr. Storm? Where would you
You
like
know
to
what?
start tonight?
We'll give some people some time to roll in. So let's just run through the toy news and some in-hand stuff, and then we'll get to your display and have some people pop in a little later. But as always, first up, got to say hello to the other partner in crime on the other channel, the greatest Star Wars channel on all of YouTube,
Yep.
Darth Moocher. What's going on, sir? And he is ready and he's primed tonight, and he's also getting primed for his own show that is directly after us. So make sure
Yeah,
you're paying
and
attention.
and if you watch and you watch him, his background, this dude knows how to display some shit.
Damn right he does. And I was trying to
Yeah.
get some screenshots of his stuff, but
Yeah.
I didn't want
We
to
got
get a
he
copyright.
charges for that though.
Well, I didn't want to get a copyright strike either because we
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
took him, so
He would have claimed the channel. We would have been screwed.
But let's roll with some toy news right at the moment. But before we do that, of course, as always, Mr. Ever Faithful. Meeks, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight, man?
What up, Meeks?
There you go. Always faithful.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're gonna hit it up. If you were just in any chance, wondering why they didn't do it at the post-con and give an update because everybody was talking about that. Hey, man, why are they not doing an update about it? Well, I guess they saved the best for a couple of weeks after the post-con because they probably didn't know it was going to be ready. And yeah, there you go. This little thing popped on in my email talking about the Dragonfly. Oh, yes. You've got until October 27th, I believe, to just in case you moved or something, change those plans and say that you want this item sent. But that usually by that point, we're within the 30 to 40 days of this actually showing up now. Because the last time I got that email and went past the October date, or I think maybe it was November or somewhere around there. But then out of nowhere, I got the tracking notification that said, yeah, this item was coming. And I will give Hasbro the one bit of credit tonight is that they send things on 2 different coasts. So they have like staging areas at FedEx that's here on, I guess, on the West Coast, and then they have the East Coast. So it's shipped extremely efficient for how it goes. And I will have to say there was very little damage to the his tank. When he shipped that, it was shipped in really high protective wear. So, I know with FedEx has a history of just dropping crap. But they actually it's shipped extremely well. So,
still can't beat that ramen toy shipping on that.
No.
It's kind of
Let me tell you
impossible to beat
something.
that.
The Velcro straps and everything still is just one of those things. Great care putting it. Look, you're paying a great deal of money for this stuff. You want to have a great deal of it done, and chances are, look, if there's a damage or something, they do make extras of these just because of the damage. I've heard Hasbro. I've never had to use it, but you can call up Hasbro and they'll replace the item or the situation without any problem. So the HasLab is usually well taken care of. So I'm looking forward to this. Will be HasLab number 2 that will be in possession. And of course, obviously, the third HasLab, which we've all paid for at this moment. The Rattler, which sometime next year. So whenever they say fall, expect winter. Winter. So about the same time that we're getting this item, they've never shipped out one of those HasLabs early. So expect that. But so far, look, they've got a great display stand with this. Wild Bill comes with 3 extra characters. It's got lights. It's just a great looking piece. It's gonna go nice. In fact, that's the reason why we did the whole display thing, because pretty soon you'll see my display go through a completely different overhaul and change. And right now, if you check and look at Mr. Chet and Alex, well, obviously you can see that we look in the background. It looks like some things are happening there. That's to be continued. So that we thought was a fine time to talk about, just changing displays, redirecting displays, doing all that kind of stuff. It's one of those things to get into what we do or what other people do. And I'm sure Darth Moocher will pop on with some of his, because his display is truly a great.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's got. Yeah, I know. It's there's something happening, bro. We can't tell you. It's like the Matrix and everything. You just got to experience it for yourself.
Yeah, no matter. It's funny because it's like as you move things around for various reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to grab the item to just be like, this is pretty rad. And one of the things we don't really talk about with collection, look, a lot of these, I want to be really clear too. We'll take the Sarlacc Digest for instance. Yes, their channel is about Star Wars. It's probably one of the better ones that I've actually ever witnessed on YouTube. And I'm not just saying that because we know the guys. I'm saying that because the knowledge is unreal. Yeah. But a lot of times people forget that we might have a topic that we want to talk about a lot, right? Marvel Legends tends to take up a lot of that conversation.
Of course, yeah.
G.I. Joe takes up a lot of that conversation. But out of all the collectors in the SKN universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very eclectic collector.
Yes.
I have a lot of vintage stuff, and it's like one of my favorite things that I have is, um, it's not even like, yeah, I mean, like it's like my pet monster. Like that has,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even like a toy. Like
Yeah.
it's a stuffed animal, which unfortunately uh loyal subjects got.
Yeah.
But what the point here is that, like, when you look at people and their collections or their podcasts or what they talk about or what it is, it's like you got to understand that when you're a collector, like, your shit runs real deep. It's not really just what
Yeah.
you see on the surface. And
Mm-hmm.
I think as I'm rearranging, we'll call it, um, I'm picking up some pieces. I'm just like, man, like, one of the things I really enjoy right now is I'm wrapping up my mask collection, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, this is like, there hasn't been this kind of shit produced in a long time, you know. And then I also going through my Marvel Legends,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people know that, like, I just chase grails. Like,
We
that's all I
know.
care about. And it's crazy to see, like, the quality, right, from like 2006 to
Mm-hmm.
like now. And a
Yeah.
prime example of that, I think I talked about it on a Friday cast, but was Dragon Man.
Yeah. I know.
And the Dragon Man, the Toy Biz Dragon Man, like, yeah, it's a grail. People want to get it. It's running like 200 plus. But it sucks. Like,
Yeah.
it's a cool figure, right? But it's like half the size of the one they're coming out with. The articulation is horrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't really stand on its own unless it has a tail. So all that to be said, that it's important to keep that in mind when you go and you start to decide how you're going to display your stuff,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
because you could get very specific and then not be able to display what you want.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You could get very like, okay, these are the pieces I want to stand out, and I think you and I have a lot of those pieces, and actually you still have a lot of those pieces
Yes, sir.
up behind you, you know. And
Yeah.
Darth Mucha has some gems behind him. Whenever I'm watching, I'm just like, this dude is not gonna
Well, it's
fucking say anything.
not even behind him, on the side of him. Same thing with
Yeah.
Scott Solos, that's like above him
Yeah,
there.
Scott Solo pissed me off because, like, that dude does like unboxes on a USS flag.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
that's that's a little different there. Collections are never done, and it's a great to rearrange and take a look at what you have and just stand in awe sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. And
Mhm.
that's why I'm very specific on, and we'll get into that because I got a bunch of the figures. There's very few figures that I like to keep in box.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy it, and I know, Mr. Storm, we've gone through, and you've
You went through it?
told your story and kind of like
Yes, sir.
fell in love with your stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's start. Let's get into, like,
Let's
how we want to display it. I mean, we could start with what you're thinking, or what you find to be best for you.
Yeah, and like I said again, this is just now. This is not the end all be all, nor are we collection experts or anything else like that. We just, like, I've seen what other people's done heavy research before I do anything. I make sure I check out, what's the best way, and then also the number one effect that works best is it works for you.
Yeah,
Whatever works for you. It's not like, because there's some people that have like mega collections and they've got like almost museum quality displays, and yeah, that's, you can spend a fortune for that, or you can take yourself down to Walmart or Home Depot and get yourself some regular shelves, or those standard supply shelves, or whatever you want to do you. Don't worry about what
yeah,
anyone else says. We just want to give you a guide on a lot of the stuff, because it is confusing when you're in the stores and you're sitting in, like, a big box store, and you're looking for something, you're like, well, what's going to work for me, and you look at somebody else like, well, this guy's got $10,000 worth of just display stands and everything else, so it's not going to work for everyone.
no,
So, and there's the funny thing about it is that, we've done work for Shaquille O'Neal, and the damn straight collection that he had, there's no way I was going to be able to afford what the hell he had in his house. It was completely different,
Mm-hmm.
but that worked for him, and that for me, I went down. So, if you can look behind me. You can also look. One of the things that we've incorporated, and I see a lot of people incorporating nowadays, is bookshelves along with like glass displays.
Mm-hmm.
I like that fact because it's like you can clean it up in a lot of ways. Like there's one guy that I saw online that had a open display that was like that was a bookshelf. Then he had two glass areas around it, and then several bookshelves, and then he had like a display, like a shelf that went on top of it, and it just all encapsulated everything. And he had a light up effect, and it bounced off. I guess you
Mm-hmm.
played music and it bounced. And yeah, wow, that looked great. There's a lot of people that can technically do that crap. I'm not the most technical person on the face of the planet, so I'm not looking to do that. But I wanted something where I could show off most of the stuff. And now that Marvel Legends is added in, and I think some of the McFarlane figures and displays is coming down a little bit more because there's more of the classified vehicles coming.
Yeah.
So it's like but I'm gonna also add some more books. So we'll kick it right into it. We'll throw it into. For me, last year I ended up getting a display case. It was gifted to me by my brother, and because he was like, he said, I want to do this for your collection because I think it would work better for you. So I have it displayed in my office behind me. Uh, this I will say that the pluses and minuses. One, it can get a little pricey. They usually start over several $100s.
Yeah.
And then the shipping, sometimes you can get with free shipping, or sometimes the shipping is added in extra. And also, it comes in a wooden crate, and that I was not prepared for, because it's wooden crate because of the glass. This is a tempered glass. This is not a standard glass. So, and this was extremely difficult putting it up with one person. That glass is extremely heavy and everything, and there were several times where it was just like, all right, how do you balance this? How do you get this done? So this was really a two-person kind of thing. So you want to, if you purchase this, you want to make sure you have somebody over to help display. Mr. Maddox was in Georgia, so I would have had him come over and give me a hand for this. Uh, but the thing I do like about it is locking cabinets. It's very clean. You notice that it's just glass all the way around, so you can see
And
your
this
entire
is
collection.
this is the one that you have right now, right?
This is the one that's directly behind. Let's see if we get out of the way. Directly behind me, right
Yeah.
there, and
Okay.
it's about 5.5, almost 6 feet tall.
How wide?
And
How wide?
it's probably about 3 feet wide. So
It's
it's
good
it's
shelf
it's
space.
it's a good shelf. And like I said again, I've displayed a lot of the Joes that I have, the classifieds, and then some of the lower levels is the vintage stuff. There's a couple of great items in there that Mr. Maddox sent this way that has to be displayed, plus a lot of the 25 anniversary card backs from some of
Yeah.
those Joes. So, I do have some original Joes that came from when my brother and I were growing up, and I'm going to actually display those in that case as well. That was why the case was done.
That's
So,
awesome.
and the thing that I was gonna do was I was thinking about purchasing a second one, but I don't know because excuse me, that case is heavy as hell, and it's almost heavy enough where it's hard for one person to move it.
Yeah.
So it's like this is something where when you put that into your display, you better think about where you're doing, because you're not gonna. This is not one of those things like like the bookshelves. You take the stuff out, you can move it around. This is gonna be extremely tough to move. So you really want to like think about like where this is gonna go, and you almost want to be happy and set with that really being in that same item. So,
Yeah.
and to buy two of them with that kind of weight is like it was just one of those things where I was like, look, I think it's a great centerpiece. I think it's extremely fantastic, but it's your collection will be permanent with that.
Oh
You're
yeah.
not going to want to move that around every angle of your house like bookshelves and everything. So that's the draw. That's the drawback of it. But the thing I like is that you can see from every point that you walk, you can see all the characters and the figures. And I'm setting on some lighting to put in there, and also the rest of the displays. And it's easy, it's clean display. The only thing is that you may see if you run with like something that's like not battery operated, you'll
Yeah.
see the cables. You're gonna have to really kind of work because it will hang through the back, and there's no
Yeah. Well,
backdrop. It's
I
glass
think
completely.
like anybody that listens to this cast that ever worked at Apple, you learn how to cable manage. So it looks like there's no cables. So
Yeah,
there's a certain point where, and I know Meeks used to work at Apple with me, and there's a certain point where you get under your desk, you're like, what is this? And then you start defining like, where's everything going to go? And like, if you
yeah,
ever want to find out if your toy cabinet is going to look good, you just look under your desk of like computer and see how well that's managed. But yeah, I mean,
mhm.
look at this shelving, the shelving, if it's done right and it's glass like this,
Oh yeah,
and there is lights in there, and you can hide it pretty well. Like it ends up being a very good like centerpiece. Like for me, I'm not somebody that would probably buy this.
yeah,
I appreciate it 1,000%,
yeah,
but I'm not somebody that's gonna buy this type, right? There are
yeah,
some glass ones that I've been looking at to house my more expensive like
hmm,
grail pieces just to kind of help keep the dust off of them.
yeah,
But I also have a very like I'm very simple. So you can't see it, but up and to the right of me, I use the IKEA lack shelf, the
yeah,
floating wall shelf.
yeah,
And that is cool because it keeps stuff off my floor so my room feels bigger. But
hmm,
then if I decide, oh, if I need more shelves, I always start at like at the lowest I would go is where I always start my shelf. And then it's like, well, if I want to go another level up, I just go get another lack shelf and I put it up and it goes above it. And then now I have another row of it. And so you can kind of like layer it that way, you know?
yeah. Mix explains to the shelf. It's like in heavy flat screen TV, your living room moves around where the thing is placed, and he's absolutely right. The same
Yeah.
thing is like when because again, it was like I hadn't seen this one. It was like it was just purchased and bought, but I was like, yeah, like really, and my brother went over a level when he kind of did it. So when it shipped. And like even the guy at FedEx was like, "Hey man, can you give me a hand getting this damn thing off the back of the truck?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, you asking me to do this?" And he had a dolly.
Yeah.
This thing was heavy as shit. And I was like, "Uh-oh." I was like, so when just putting together was like, okay, wow, I did not expect it. And it's one of those things where this was not purchased through IKEA or anything. This was purchased online. So
Hmm.
it wasn't like a display I could go to. Like it's a good thing when you go to IKEA you can at least see the cabinet. You can kind of like, like
Yeah.
open it up and everything, see how really heavy it is. And
Yeah.
usually the Kia stuff is functional, yet it's not designed to be too rigid.
Yeah.
So you're going to get something that's okay. It was easy to put together, and it's not that. This thing was like no, this was like almost a level like museum quality. Like yeah, this is not going to move. So, but again, I love the display case. I love how it looks. It works. You can see some of the we've got some examples of some people's displays that take it to the next level right here. So we want to show you what we think that is just normal kind of ways, and then we want to show you what some people take to the extreme. This is one of those extreme shelvings, and like wow, it's the lighting, everything else with it. This person took some time and energy, and yeah, that case ain't moving nowhere. So that's
Yeah. It's
one of
not
those
moving
personal
anywhere.
examples.
In this case too, you can see they like sections of
Yep.
collections, right? Like
Yep.
Iron Man bust, and at the very bottom's all the helmets. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
cool. It's cool.
beautiful, man. Beautiful. Uh, it's like let's see. That's it. I'm tearing down my tour room and starting over again too. I know.
That sounds like a weekend hangout session, bro.
It does. It does.
Sounds like a weekend hangout session at Darth's house.
Yep. All right. So then we'll flow right in. Here's some other ones and some like, again, some people that just, some of these are some of the high-end displays. So I wanted to give people like this is where you could take it. Again, I've seen the one with the wood engraving. I've seen it. Those are more like trophy kind of cases. I've seen several people have those usually, and those are really nice. Again, and the one aspect is like me said, it's like a TV on the wall. It's like it's not moving, you know.
Yeah.
It's just there, and I think that, for me personally, I don't know how anyone else feels. I like the evolution of changing things, updating them, getting different configurations, constantly playing with that. I think having a permanent display like that, the only thing that you can change is just the characters or items inside.
Yeah, I think,
And
but I think if your display is permanent, like ideally, it's something that you would have gone like. So I have a friend that has a really cool old house, like really cool. It's
Mhm.
like built in like the '60s,
Okay.
and he has a wall that is like a massive supporting wall for his house.
Mhm.
But the way that they did this supporting wall was they made it like a giant bookshelf, right? But
Okay.
like they had like long ones and he had square ones, and it's all built into the wall. And if he was to take it out, he'd have to take out the supporting wall. So
Mhm.
he used that to his advantage and made it a centerpiece for collections. But I'm telling you, on the shelf, he only has like maybe one or two figures. And if he has multiple figures, it's a scene from a comic book cover, right?
Okay.
And so that's what he did. So that's really when I'm kind of at the point of like, if it's permanent, like there's got to be a reason for it to be permanent. Again, like as somebody who um has an issue with commitment and staying in one place for more than a year, let's put it that way. um I'm not a fan of like permanent shit. So
Mhm.
these are
So,
cool though. I like this
now
setup.
now this setup is something that I kinda envision for mine now. I know he's using those, DTOF cabinets from the old version from, that are discontinued from IKEA, but you
Hmm.
can see there's a bookshelf in the middle. Well, actually, no, that's what that I think that is the IKEA shelf too, is the double
Yeah, he just
doored,
has a door opener.
IKEA
Yeah.
shelf. And then he's running with the cabinets, and then you see, like, he's got some items, and I know Darth Nutra Solomon right there because the Razor Crest, and we call it Slave One, but a lot of people now call it Boba Fett ship. But all the great displays and everything, and the lighting and everything. This is how I kind of see my own collection evolving into. Is, like I said again, a lot of some bookshelves, some glass shelvings added into it, and just a complete mixture. And, like, the top levels being where vehicles are at and things. So I kind of like this. And again, the other one is the example of some lighting, some puck lighting inside of one of the DTOFs. That, again, that's this discontinued. They have a new lighter, a little bit of a little narrower shelf that now IKEA does. Still great price. You can pick up the I think they call it the Blanken or Blockens for $79, so under $80. And these now are not the one thing I didn't like about the DTOS was it was glass. They had a very inner frame that was very thin, and I've heard several people saying that at one point or another, like, like either cracked or, like, it just came apart or something. And, I this new one set in a different way. It's a little bit more strength. It just has the little metal bars that kind of block the clean aesthetic look of the old version. So,
Yeah.
and we're rolling to that. Again, more, this is what I mostly see in most people's houses. These are the displays where they mostly just, go down to IKEA or
Look at that
small, and they just,
transformer setup on the top.
I'm talking about, it's fantastic, is it not?
Bro, that's like G1, dude. That's like I would be leaving this guy's house with all that shit in my bag.
But,
Especially, what is
you know,
that? What is that one on the in the red? Is that
uh,
is that
I don't know.
Megatron?
I don't
No,
know. I
that's not
can't.
that's not the G1 Meg. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I just
Uh,
I love Transformers. I love G1 Transformers, and just the top of this guy's shelf is like
No,
uh
again, I looked in it, and you can see it's in a small corner of his, of his office or room or wherever, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it's efficient. It's
yeah.
extremely nice. And then, like, most people, if you're in an apartment, you're probably looking at the other photo where it's like two, and and like, so it's, you can build it towards your space restrictions, your budgets. That's the thing about it. There's no right or wrong. It's just that however you feel like it. If you light it or don't light it or whatever, hey, you can do you, man. So we're gonna flow in a couple of prices. Like I said, now this is not the same item, but I was on Amazon and I saw this item. This is running for about $268,
Hmm.
and that was actually with free shipping as well. So that's not bad because the version that I had was a tad bit more expensive. And then there's the Blanken, if I'm pronouncing that right and everything over Kia. Now, like I said again, the newer design, you notice, like I said again, they have the thin metal strippings on the side, but I think that's a little makes it a little bit more sturdier for the glass to hold up in. Now,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to purchase a couple of those to go along with the collection and several more bookshelves. So it's just going to incorporate the entire wall.
Hmm.
And then there's one like again, if you're in an apartment and you just want to have your action figures up, maybe you have some OG Star Wars characters or some Joes that you had as a kid. This was one of those things I saw on Walmart.com where it says the Figure Lab. And if you click into it, there's a company and they offer several different options of like from display figure stands to all kind of stuff that you can put in. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool because I know some people that you can configure some of these to. There are people that are Matchbox collectors or Hot Wheels collectors, so you can actually configure that too. They have displays that's there. I know a guy that damn near has almost the entire wall full of Hot Wheels, and it's like display. So there, and he has some in packaging, some outer package removed ones. So again, it's all about what you want to do. The lighting options, I don't know how well that one you would have to probably you have to do a little bit of working in for some lighting for that. But I was pleasantly surprised at like how much when I first started to see like displays and everything,
Yeah.
like you almost had no research, no rhyme or reason. And now I'm starting to see like, you can go to Amazon and you can easily put it in because a while, like, I think it was about 3, 4 years ago. If you put in like, what's the, you Google like display cases for action figures, and it just was almost nothing in the search engines. Now there are so many great configurations and things that are just rolling that, now it's easier to understand what you're going to do. You can look at other people's items. People are displaying those on Instagram or on YouTube a lot more. So a lot of great ideas out there. This is also what the bookshelf right here. I purchased, I would say that the most cost efficient ones are at Walmart or either at Target or Home Depot. I purchased this. It's a six level bookcase that I got from Walmart, and it was like under $35. And I thought, okay, like so, if you decide they have two colors, one's a black, one's white. You just decide that hey, you want to make a change or something. It's not really that bad to like add on to it. It's like they have some 3 level shelves that you can put in
Hmm.
between, so you can kind of configure that up. And that's the same thing if you go to Target. Target has their own line similar. I've noticed the Target was at $40 price range instead of the $35 price range. So, again, whatever you want to do. I've even seen that you could go Wayfair. There's a couple other places online. You can get some that are like in the hundreds of dollars. So, it all depends on what you want to do. But, and then there's these cubby hole ones that I've seen. And I've started to see these a lot more in other people's collections. I've seen people have a whole wall of those too that work
Yeah.
itself out. Right.
So
I think you got
what
a couple of them too, don't you?
I do have a couple of them. I actually have, I think the one that you're looking at, it's the smaller one. It's the 6 cube one, but there's
Mhm.
so these are cool, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Ideally, you'd have to kind of go, unfortunately, with the more expensive versions of these through IKEA, but it's for a good reason. You can now buy diorama sets that fit into these cubby holes,
Oh, okay.
so that you could have just like you could have like a different scene in each cubby hole with different
Mhm.
figures, and that's pretty badass. And
Yeah, it is.
I've been buying a lot of extreme sets.
Mhm.
You find them on Amazon. It's all cardboard setups. Like I have a rooftop one, a castle one, like an alley one, and a lot of that's for like the photography stuff. But
Mm.
they also make these cubby hole ones, not really extreme sets. I think another company does them, but
Mm.
it's like there's like a behind the alley with a staircase, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
up, and you just push it into one of these cubbies, and it makes that into like a
Hmm.
scene. So it's gotten to the point where it's like it's like form, function, and display, which is fantastic. And the thing that's better about the IKEA ones
Hmm.
is that you can wall mount the IKEA ones.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You can't
Yeah,
wall mount. You can't wall mount the. I mean, I guess you could.
you could. It just take a little work, but you could.
Yeah,
You
but the
know,
but the IKEA ones are made to wall mount. So
makes sense. And seeing people popping into the live and everything. Make sure you're doing us a favor. Everyone in the live, hit the like button. Let's try to get those likes up tonight. That way, and if you know anyone that if you're watching now, somebody might be interested. Hey man, tell them to hit that because we love the replay clubs. It's not just about just being in lives, but it's actually after they go off. And if you need to catch us, our socials is right up there on Instagram and X, so you can see when new episodes pop up and everything. If you're not on YouTube, yeah, like I said again, I think that this is probably the cost efficient version of like getting in displays, and they're very customizable because you can drill lights in, or you can tape lights in, or you could do whatever. You can kind of add to it. You can connect two shelves together. You can play around. So the customizable factor here is something a little bit different than just having a glass display one. So and then
mhm.
also if you're in an apartment, you can able to easily join those around corners. It's just I think it's the easiest one, and it's the one that I see in more people's homes than normal.
Yeah,
I don't see the glass display ones as much, other than the DTOFs, and those I'm starting to see now. If you check on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, and you can see those pop up all the time now. A lot of people are moving to the newer ones, and they're just getting rid of the older ones to purchase some new ones. So those are the DTOFs are popping up all over the place. And it was about a year ago you couldn't find one at all. So so then let's get into lighting. Now, if you've watched the sort of like Digest podcast, you've seen, I think Dark Moocher has some of the best lighting, and my man has went completely into it because its levels is all lighting and all shelves. And like I said, I haven't even taken that ordeal because I just know once you get into that, you just can't like half-ass it. You've
no,
got to go full bone. And I'm like,
yep,
I know it's like time restriction wise, I got a little time to do here. And then I know it's like, so I got to plan out a point where I could just knock it all out and just get it done. Cause I do not want to just have like one half light, one not, one go. I think that your display looks better when it looks complete.
yep.
So I've been, other than, I know a lot of people use a lot of the undershelf lighting. And yeah, there you go. There you go. He's changing the lighting soon. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So we got some stuff going on for that. All right, brother. Um, One of the aspects I've been doing is I think there's a lot of the undershelf, under cabinet lighting displays. Home Depot, Amazon, they're easily able to find. Like you can either do battery operated or like hardwired. I For a while I didn't want to do hardwired because it just de-wires. Like I don't like to have, like, again, like messy wires and everything else like that. And it's just one of those things that drives me crazy. That's the reason why I like the book casing, because they do have their backs. So you can actually put it through, tape them through the top, and then it can conveniently be hidden behind it compared to your display casing. So I've been looking more not at the strips, but at the pucks, because I
Hmm.
like the way the pucks shine on specific items.
Yeah,
There's one of them is a battery operated one. I think that's under $30 that you can get from like Amazon. And they have a whole different array of colors and everything. I do like when you can shift the coloring. But the one that I've been moving to is this basement lighting. This was hardwired, but it's very clean. and if you can look at the wiring that you can put through, it's going to be an easier transition to, like, have that where you're able to hook it up, plug it into the wall, and get it going. Some of them are the one set that you see, it just has a light switch. There's no
Yeah.
remote control, and one does have actually remote control to it. So it just all depends. It's not going to kill you to switch it on from the back, but if you want to have it all display coloring and everything, it might be easier for the remote. But
Yep.
that's the option I'm probably best looking at to do all the lighting. So when I purchase it, I want to purchase it all at once and just get to work and get it through. So
Well, that's where I have a problem because I like all the color lighting, but I also want it all automated by Siri
mm.
or Alexa,
Now,
and so you have to really hunt. So
now
like I
see,
have in my house, everything is hue lights,
yeah,
and I use hue lights, and then for my there's for the lighting strips, like the strip lights, those
mm-hmm.
I use Elgato. Those ones are you could still do the same thing you can do with hues. They're cheaper, but they're actually better. The hue lights, the reason why I use those is because if you do the lighting strip from Elgato,
Mm-hmm.
the Elgato light strips, those ones don't flash on camera. So like if
Oh,
you have
okay.
so like if
Mm-hmm.
you have the light strip up behind you, like if your whole setup is like the light strips and that's what you're using to color, they don't cause the camera to flicker. So
Mm-hmm.
they're meant for like streaming, and those of you know that I did stream on my own channel for a long time. I use those because of that. And Elgato is one of the very few companies that makes it, which is funny because Elgato is a lighting company,
Mm-hmm.
like lighting, right?
Yeah,
I use those, but I love these pucks, man. I think
yeah,
if you can set up pucks, the reason why I like them is because they're basically meant to be a spotlight. So you have to be very
exactly.
one, they make you think about how you're going to set up your display, and then
Mm-hmm.
two, like when it's right, and it's
Yeah.
like and they look good. And I've seen people install these pucks, actually these basin ones, and
Mm-hmm.
what they did is they got a drill with
Mm-hmm.
like a hole drill that's the same size as the puck or a little bit bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and then they drill down into the top just barely, just to like recess it a little bit, and then
Mm-hmm.
they use like 3M backing tape or whatever it is on there
Yeah.
to seal it. And I mean that's a lot, but if to each their own, like it
If you
just
got
depends
the
on how
time, you
crazy you
got the
want to
time.
yeah, it's how crazy you
You
want to
know.
go.
But yeah, I was thinking about you today when we hit the lighting strips,
There it
and
is.
you see there is one that works with your Amazon Alexa devices and everything, or I'm sure probably should also Siri points. But this is the common one that I've seen because these are extremely customizable. You can cut out, you can shape them to the corners you want to clip, cut,
Yep.
move. But these are also the ones where you know you're gonna actually have to measure, do a bunch. This is not one of those things you just throw it in and just forget about it. A lot of
Yeah.
people do that where they do the edge of the shelf with those on each of the edges and
Hmm.
work it. Then I've seen like people that have like the kind of half a box in design that's
Hmm.
really works as well. There's no real bad way. I like the fluorescent. A lot of these can shine extremely bright,
Yeah.
dim extremely low, so you can have mooding and effects on different avenues or things. So um this is one of those ones where I looked at that, but I didn't. And this one, obviously one of them was Bluetooth, and I found this on Amazon, and I think the other one I think that was either Walmart that I did a search on today. So I just as I was going through novelly, hey, with lighting effects, what I could do, and I did them for like fairly reasonable price ranges. Now there are some like modular version of display casing that is pricey, that already have the lighting that comes with it, that connects in and everything. I tried to stay away from that because that's really high end,
Yeah.
and a lot of people aren't going to just purchase that in the beginning.
No, like I said, that's you would buy that for like a staple piece,
Hmm.
Like you're not like give you an example. I would pay that money to display the pit bath and my Fin Fang Foom bath.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, that's all that's going to go in there because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
especially pit is like one of the hardest ones to find. So like that's for me, that's like okay, that could sit in that shelf. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, like maybe Scratch from
Yeah. You know.
TMNT. But again, these are like not cheap figures. So
Exactly.
and I think that's what's important, right? Is like you want to be able to have a great looking setup
Mm-hmm.
for cheap because you want to put all your money into the figures. But you don't need to be a Grail collector. You don't need to be
No.
anything like
No.
it's got to make you happy and
Mm-hmm.
it's got to not break the bank. And that's ultimately like how you stay happy. Like you don't break the
Exactly.
bank and you have what you need.
And most of these lighting, if I didn't say it before, I'll say it again. It's LED.
Yeah.
You want to kind of run into LEDs because of the fact is that if you do have a grill, you don't want to have like harsh lighting beaming down on that item that you so well spent the money on and want to protect and everything. So the LEDs, you can, they're a little soft lighting, also efficiently wise. Most people, when you have a home, you don't have this a massive lighting kit set up in like a collection. So you've got to think your electric bill is kind of going to go up a little bit. LEDs keep it at a very nice, reasonable level where it's not like it's like, I know we're getting close to the Christmas season. And if anyone else has one of those major house displays, you see that your bill ticking up and everything. And I see a lot more LEDs now being moved to outside display because people's are like, oh my God, I got like a $500 bill for December. Like, yeah, that's what happens when you run those
Yes,
old
you
lights,
do.
brother. You
If you
know,
just turn off your display of your toys, maybe your bill wouldn't be so high.
I've even seen in some displays, I've seen people run Christmas lighting. So again, whatever makes you happy, do you. We are not giving you any kind of instructions on what to do. We're just saying that, hey, these are some of the things that we've started to get into. I ran through battery operated lights and a lot of my stuff, and then it's like, yeah, you get maybe 10 to 15 hours of usage out of it, but you're not leaving those things on all night. It's like, because you'll be burning through batteries, because even those little pucks go through like 3 batteries.
Oh
If
yeah,
you're
I
lucky.
hate those. I bought 2 sets of those pucks because
Yeah.
I was gonna light up a shelf. And number one, they suck, and number two, they're just not worth the money. It's
Yeah.
like
I was like, you might as well just
it's.
pay.
I went through like 12 AAA batteries in less than
Yeah.
2 days.
That's why I said you might as well just pay and just actually get the lighting. And again, I'll feature back here on this. This is the one I've seen for the best bang for your buck, and it's through Amazon. It's readily available, and I think that it's one again. I like the different color SKUs, and they could be ran through like your phone app. They have an actual remote that comes with some of them. The other one, I think that's probably just you can run that just through the lighting switch, but I'll double check back into that. But these are just again, this is not what we're saying that this is what you mandate to do. Just like, hey man, this is what we're doing. This is a situation that we think is gonna best to give you the tips. And the thing is, if you're just getting started into it, because I know a lot of people, like when I first started, I had no clue about what I was going to do. As I looked online and saw other people's things, there's not like a lot of people left a lot of instructions. If you go on YouTube, there are a lot of people that's show their collection. This is what I did, and there's a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he's had a transformer display, and he had Unicron in the middle of it. And this was one of the nicest displays I've seen with lighting and everything. And he did a breakdown from like the size of his wall, what he was thinking, the items he bought, the lighting and everything. And he showed the complete start to finish. And I thought this was something that definitely helped me. I wish more creators would do something. So I thought we'd bring that to Toy Box Chronicles tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No.
as we're there now, here's the hard thing about displays. Once you got the display, you got to put something in it.
Yeah.
So now again, always crack up our comments, love them or hate them and everything. I remember we said something about Dragon Man. This guy wrote in the comments like, don't you guys just buy everything? Like, no, we don't. We don't buy everything, but
Yeah.
we damn near buy clothes though. So, but the one thing that I got my notifications, but I did not get it. But Mr. Maddox got his, and we're gonna click into this. Guess what showed up in Mr. Maddox's house this week?
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yes.
I got the Storm, Dracula. I got Hellfire.
Mhm.
I gotta be honest. I do like these boxes.
I do too. Hold on, let me just take that down for you. Oh yeah,
So she's cool.
yeah, they are great, man.
They're cool figure. There's cool boxes. I got
Hmm.
those, and then I
Also,
got
too, I like the box artwork on them that they're using. They're using a lot of comic book related artwork now on them.
oh yeah, the bot. Yeah, they're great. Like here's
Yeah, the
Dracula.
Dracula. And if you read Blood Hunt, that was the version that Dracula was drawn in. Um, and great looking character. I
Two
like
head
the different
sculpts.
heads, the swords. Yeah, like I
Yep,
said,
two head
very
sculpts on
smart.
that guy. This one's cool, man. I didn't think I would want this,
Let me
but
guess the
Weapon of Vengeance is badass.
yeah, you're talking about the Wolverine.
Helverine, yeah,
Yeah. He's like some. Yeah, it is cool. I love the adamantium flame claws. I love that artwork too, man.
yeah,
Wow.
it's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah, it
these
is.
like these things. I was telling you guys on chat after,
Yeah.
like on our personal chat, like these boxes are where it's at, man.
Mhm.
They're legit. Like I know that there's some weird pushback on whether or not they were gonna be good.
Mhm.
But I got those, and then I just kept sending you guys pictures.
He did. Yep. Yep.
I then got this. Okay, no, I
Oh
didn't show
yeah.
you guys this. That's no, I got this in the mail.
Oh, okay. Oh wow. Yeah. All right. Yeah. The VHX box tapes.
I was
Those are
excited.
a lot better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
It's just it's the novelty of it, but it stacks well on the shelf.
Well, that and this is probably one of the best Spider-Man figures
Yeah.
in
Hmm.
terms of just like classic, like where it comes from.
Hmm.
Uh, and then right before,
I
I
know.
was like, man, I wasn't expecting anything else to show up,
Yep.
and I ended up getting this one.
I know. I got my notification on Monday for that, and I checked it. It said it'll be here Friday. I was like, it's always going to be on a Friday. But yeah, like I said, that's Jim Lee's Punisher. That's a Jim Lee's Punisher War Journal. And if you have
Yeah,
not read the that series, and that was early Jim Lee work. Jim was
yeah,
putting it down. He was hitting his chops before he became Mr. X-Men. Jim Lee, uh, Carl Banks, a lot of great artists, I'm sorry, Carl Potts. Will Spertatio was doing Punisher at that time period. It's just a great version of that. I'm hoping they're going to do Will Spertatio's Punisher. I'd love to see some of those classic ones, done because I think they've done Mike Zeck's version, but it's nice to see Jim Lee get his. So just really, that's what really makes it kind of cool. I love the classic looks, plus also the artwork. Dude, they had a lot of Jim Lee's artwork, his covers and everything too.
yeah.
And it's the old school Punisher symbol that he drew. And I'm talking about it looks like he took that right out of the comic book, and they just printed it. So yeah, wow. Bushwhack, I have those issues too. That was the Acts of Vengeance, man. And we've got Dr. Brentley popping in the house. Yep. Damn, that Punisher looks fantastic. Damn right it does.
Yeah, it's a great,
Yes.
it's a great
Again,
Punisher.
I as much as like we're getting close to October, and that means the end of the year is coming in. I don't know, man. I usually every year I'm like 100% the toy line of the year is GI Joe Classified. And I this is the first year where I'm like, I don't know. I think Marvel Legends may be claiming those top spots, man, because they've been hitting it all this year. Things I didn't expect. Like you didn't even get Brother Voodoo yet. Hasn't popped in, has he?
Nope. No,
Yeah.
that one comes, I think, next week.
Yeah. So, there's some hits
The
that's
problem
coming.
is like I get excited to get them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that means they charged my card.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the funny thing about it is that it's like man, it's like oh wow, woo, and then like oh Jesus, like let me make sure I got to transfer money and do
Like, well,
something in.
what nice fellas sending me all these?
Yeah.
Oh, me from the past.
And I think the thing that they don't even give you a warning. Like normally, hey, in a
No,
couple of days you're gonna be charged that card. It's like boom, it went right out. Like oh okay, well, all right.
there's zero warning.
And I think that if I'm not mistaken, these came on time, and usually they come a little early. So
Well,
it's a hit and miss.
the strange tale ones, I ordered those. I'll be clear from Amazon because I wasn't going to get them till November, and I was excited about that. And
Yeah,
then they showed up at my door.
yeah. Well, that's yeah. Now, see, the difference of that is that did you order the Punisher through Amazon as well?
No,
See, I ordered it through Hasbro Pulse.
that's where I got it.
So that's I'm seeing a couple of people on the East Coast get it now too. So normally Amazon does ship out their stuff a little bit quicker than
Mhm.
the Hasbro Pulse. So it's a hit or miss.
Yeah,
But
for me, I'll do either or just because I don't pay for shipping on either one.
yeah,
So, like, I mean, like if you buy like two figures from Hasbro Pulse, the free shipping, like the premium
it
is
works.
worth it. You know.
Well, the reason why I like going to Amazon Prime a little bit more is that um, for us on the West Coast, like there's other taxes and fees and everything done because you're coming from wherever from the East Coast coming to the West Coast. But like when you're doing it through Amazon, see, it's gonna be delivered in an Amazon facility here, and so the taxes are a little different. So it's the point of saving a couple of bucks. It is what it is. But any couple of bucks you save is a couple of bucks you can spend on another figure.
Yep.
So So from there, man, always a good thing to see what the collections are growing. We got even more stuff. I know I haven't got my the retro card back GI Joe Classifieds with the retro card back Cobra Commander should be coming soon. Some Iron Grenadiers coming soon. Stardusters should be coming. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we popped up. So between now and the end of the year, along with that Dragonfly, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that we're gonna be dropping and showing on the channel. Like,
So
it's like,
much.
hey, guess what we got? But hey, that's the time of year that we love and everything. So, hey, again, if you guys haven't done it, we haven't told you this and everything, please hit a like on tonight's stream if you're in the section. Also, make sure that you're subscribing. That's the number one thing, and also turn that notification bell on because we've got people that saying that, hey, man, I didn't get the notification, but I got the notification bell on. So every now and then you got to turn it on, turn it off to jog it again. It's just something that goes with the algorithm over YouTube. So make sure you're doing that, catching us on our shows and everything.
Also,
And
if you want more of a palm-filled, fun, fantastic night, we are live streaming on Instagram now, so you can bounce over there and just hold us in the palm of your hand and start,
and best thing
sing some songs.
You're at Walmart picking up your bookshelves. Hey, Toy Box Chronicles on.
show them you're watching us for a discount.
Absolutely.
Walk into Walmart and say, "Look, I'm watching Toy Box Chronicles."
There you go.
They'll give you some kind of discount probably. But hey, if you're into things that are cheaper, so let's say I told you it was $10, but then you could just do something else and it was $5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you would do that thing for the $5 off, and that's where Entertainment Earth comes into play. That's cool, Chet. Yeah. Yeah, but you don't get me because I collect comics. Well, hey, I do get you because I collect them too. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting real tired of you people accusing me of not understanding what you collect. Okay. Because I just got done for the last hour telling you that, we collect a lot of things. And while I collect comics, I'm nowhere near, I'm not even in the same vicinity. I'm not even in the same Costco parking lot. I'm not even in the same stadium parking lot as Mr. Storm. And definitely, I'm not even in the same city as Dr. Brentley. And those two are going to be doing some epic shit with comics coming up soon. So you got to stay tuned. But we were excited to partner with Gemini Comics because we do ship comics to each other. We buy the supplies from them. We currently use them. So it's fantastic. And we have a little something for everybody. Our friend Darth Moocher is up and running the Starlight Digest right now. But we want to kind of give you a little rundown of what it's like over here on YouTube. Well, sir.
There you go, Meeks.
You gotta smash that like button. Meeks has another Joystick Junkies coming out. It's just the editor has been tied up working on some other projects. So it's gonna come out a little bit later than we'd like, but we'll get that done as soon as we can. But I do hear from a little birdie, if you want to tell me about this, there is something kind of happening on the channel right now that is pretty exciting.
There is, and everything else like that. We've got Getting Medieval. It drops every Monday. If you are a Lord of the Rings fan or a Game of Thrones, love any Dungeons and Dragons, which Darth Moocher is. If you are into anything, if you're into swords, sorceries, and dragons, that is the podcast for you. It's recorded, but it's myself, Dr. Brentley, and Darth Moocher from the Starlight Digest podcast, and it's weekly. Again, Mondays drops at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. or I'm sorry, 2 p.m. East Coast time. And you can catch it every Monday on the channel, so that's a permanent fixture. And then from there, I see Meeks is throwing up his thing for what he's going to do. So I have another one covering the Tokyo Game Show, okay, and PlayStation's State of Play coming soon. Look, if you're not getting the Joystick Junkies informative video games, Meeks, we'd like to say back in the day, Meeks Minutes, but he's putting it down, man. He's definitely one. He's informed me, man.
And that editor busy.
He always is, and that's his job. From there, we got some stuff that's coming on the channel. Dr. Brenton and I, we revamped the retrospect, and that started last year in October. And we've had a busy year and everything. As much as we try to make the 2 shows a week and everything, it's hard to do other content outside of it. But we found a way to do something. We're not quite going to announce it, but in October you will see the Retrospect Vault that will be dropping on Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. And we don't know if it's going to be every other week or maybe bi-weekly or once a week or something. We're trying to plan that out right now, but we know October there's going to be something that's going to happen. When we say Shadow Nose Network, SKN, truly that's what we try. We try to give you guys programming that is like a network. You can tune it on, and there's nights a week, and we're like Fox in the early days. We start on a Sunday, and then we're trying to fill up the rest of the week. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
So we're like Solomon Grundy. We're born on a Sunday.
We're working that out. But you know what? As always, we're cutting into our favorite podcast on the face of the channel that deals with Star Wars. It's sort of like Digest Podcast. Once you're done with us, if we had a Ray button like you had on Whatnot, we would send you directly over there. But you're just going to have to go over there yourself.
Yes, sir. And that's it for us today. We've enjoyed being here, but you've enjoyed us even more because you tuned in. Hey, I got some news for you. Okay. I need everybody to hit subscribe, hit like, share this video, stay sexy. And remember, you can chase the plastic dragon all you want. Just don't tell your spouses because it's never nice. Till next time, stay classy.